it's Greg from DadPad Gaming, and we are reviewing Marvel's Midnight Suns. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Marvel Midnight Suns is a game developed by Firaxis and published by 2K Games, the same publisher and developer combo that has brought you the likes of Civilization and XCOM. Marvel Midnight Suns promises to bring a unique gameplay spin to the Marvel Games formula by presenting you with familiar and unfamiliar characters. Let's see if they can make good on that promise. So what exactly is Marvel's Midnight Suns? The short end of it? Well, Marvel Midnight Suns is a tactical RPG that has RNG elements that come in by the way of custom decks that can be built per character. And of course, we're gonna throw in some social life simulator mechanics for good measure. Midnight Suns kicks off from the very beginning, letting you know that this is not your traditional Marvel story. Lilith, also known as the Mother of Demons, is resurrected and teams up with Hydra in order to launch a world war to do evil comic book villain stuff. And of course, to save the day, your custom character known as the legendary Hunter is revived and teams up with the likes of Iron Man, Magic, Blerd, and more to team up to stop Hydra and Lilith's evil plans. So what does Marvel Midnight Suns do well? The answer is simple, it's combat. And when I say they do it well, they do it exceptionally well. Every single attack hits with a level of impact that is truly satisfying. Each character's battle animations are true to character and exactly what you imagine them to be like. Spider-Man zips across the level with unparalleled agility, and Blade hacks and slashes and guns his way to victory. And surprising enough, the RNG mechanic that the cards brings into play really helps emulate the fact that you're playing with heroes who have to think out their moves, because using your strongest attack is not always the best approach to saving the day. When you boil it down to the basics, each turn allows you to move one hero as many times as you like during the one move phase. You may play up to 3 cards per round. You can also use things like cliffs, poles, and power terminals to your advantage. Where things get interesting is in learning the unique abilities of each card. For instance, quick attacks come with the ability that anytime you eliminate an enemy with a quick attack, you get a refund of one of your 3 played cards for that round. Knockback attacks don't do any damage unless you manage to knock an enemy into an environmental hazard, into another hero, or into another enemy. And then there are forceful knockbacks that do impact damage and also will knock back enemies further to give you more damage or more opportunities to take advantage of environmental hazards. And each of these basic attacks, along with skills that do things like heal and buff your teammates, allow you to build up what is referred to as heroism. And heroism can do anything from allow you to revive fallen enemies, to doing special attacks, or to doing some really awesome combo attacks with 2 heroes at a time. Marvel Midnight Suns can be a bit difficult, but honestly, once it clicked for me, it clicked. And the gameplay loop of managing social simulation, choosing what teammate to practice with, choosing what teams I wanted to build friendships and synergy with, and so much more became the most exciting parts of this game outside of combat. I also like the fact that Marvel Midnight Suns really takes liberty to focus on some more obscure characters, like my personal favorite, Illyana, or her superhero name, Magic, whom I've only previously known from the last Fox New Mutant movie that came out. And honestly, with characters in combat being as interesting as they are, I cannot wait till they add in Storm, who is absolutely my favorite all-time X-Men character, to see how she will fit into the fray. But of course, no game is perfect, and I absolutely have a handful of gripes with Marvel's Midnight Suns. One of the more obvious issues is, despite the fact that battles play out beautifully and our characters look great there, back at the Abbey, which is our hub for all social and crafting mechanics, our characters don't look so great. While Peter Parker in particular really does nail the vibe of Peter/Spider-Man, when it comes to Tony Stark, it's absolutely giving generic, smart, rich guy. And I absolutely get that with the MCU being the most popular form of comic book heroes today, you really have to play that line of familiar yet fresh with these iconic characters. But Tony Stark and Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel specifically, really don't do it for me. And while I did enjoy 2/3 of Marvel Midnight Suns being the combat and the day gameplay, which involves social mechanics and crafting and sparring with teammates, the other third of gameplay is the nighttime, which is following after your missions for the day. And despite the fact that nighttime gameplay does sometimes add in some social simulation mechanics into the fray, most of your time at night will be spent reading vague descriptions of particular areas on the Abbey grounds from Wanda, or the Scarlet Witch's, diary, and searching the Abbey grounds to find out what her vague description is referring to. And while those sections were okay at first, once the rest of the gameplay loop clicked in, it was the only part of the game that I truly was never excited to get back to. And eventually, I would start skipping the night portions just to get back to the day when most of the meaningful action takes place. And while nighttime is absolutely the worst part about this game, I can absolutely say Charlie is definitely a good girl. My only other issue with Midnight Suns is the fact that there are absolutely too many currencies. There's a bunch of different types of essence which could be used to upgrade your cards. There are blueprints which are used to craft new cards. There's glossy, which is used for cosmetics, and then there's actual gold, which you use to buy the upgrades after you use another type of resource to create the upgrades. There's really a lot of different mechanics going on when you talk about currencies in this game, and it can make progressing and upgrading the Abbey a bit of a headache. Marvel Midnight Suns is definitely a fun game that I would recommend to anyone who is a Marvel fan that has an open mind about trying different genres of games. I truly had a blast learning more about characters from the Runaways and obscure X-Men characters that I didn't even know existed. If you would have told me 5 years ago that the makers of XCOM were developing a card game based on Marvel heroes where you are a custom character in a self-insert fanfiction environment where Blerd assumes the role as the cool uncle, I would have called you crazy. But here we are in winter of 2022, Marvel Midnight Suns is a thing, and it's pretty good. Despite some graphical inconsistencies and some odd decisions on the quality of life side of things with our crafting systems, the excellent battle system here is truly king, and for that, I give Marvel Midnight Suns a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much for making it to this point. If you are here and you enjoyed the content, please give us a like, send us a comment, let us know if you have this game. What are your thoughts? Will you be making the purchase, or will you be waiting for this to go on sale? Or hey, maybe you're going to skip it altogether. But of course, also remember to subscribe because it definitely helps out the page. And of course, we don't want you to miss any of the content that we have coming for the rest of this year and all of 2023. Thanks again, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.
Don't call me that, Eddie. I'm Spider-Man. MJ's boyfriend. Sometimes it's complicated. Go get him, Tiger. Yeah, May? Give me 5 more minutes. Just 5 more wheat cakes.